This is a lantern. It gives us light. What does light have to do with Jesus, you might be wondering? Well, I'm going to tell you that throughout our Bible, there are times when Jesus calls himself the light of the world. There are times when it says Jesus is the light from on high, or the day spring, or dawn. And even at the resurrection, he comes at the beginning of the day to bring light and love to all of us. So, thinking about that, I was thinking about how, yeah, it's starting to get a little bit darker earlier, and we all need that light. And light also means hope, and we could always use a little hope. So I found this cool craft online, and we're going to do our own version of it. We're going to make a lantern. Now, to do that, all you really need are some felt pieces. It doesn't really matter too much what colors you use, but I do think yellow and red will help us, and I'm going to add green to that mix, okay? So we're going to start by getting our color that's different than the candle-y color. So that's going to be my green. And I'm going to show you how we're going to put that down and make the base of the lantern. Then the yellow is going to show up in the candle and also where we're going to write on. So you want a little bit lighter color. And then red's going to be our bright candle in the middle, okay? So when we think about Jesus and light, we remember what it means to, like, if we shut our eyes, right? Shut your eyes with me. How it's hard to see sometimes, and you don't know what's going on, and you might even be scared of the dark. All right? Sometimes it's okay to be scared of the dark because, you don't know what's out there, right? But with Jesus, we can say, wow, we always have a light with us. And so one of the things we do is we sometimes sing, hey, Berwick's are on, we sometimes sing, This Little Light of Mine. Do you know that one? If not, I'm going to teach it to you. All right, ready? So you're going to put your finger up like it's a candle, and you can even blow on it, right? Like it's a candle. So we go, this little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Now you're going to hear lots of different versions of this. One of them I like always is that I'm going to say to you, it's called a bushel, but I'm not sure if you know what a bushel is, actually. Some of our adults do, but I'm not sure the kids do. But it's hide it under something. So, like, put a hat on it. Are we going to cover it with a hat? Or are we going to cover it with a blanket? And we go, no, right? So we're going to say, hide it under a bushel. No, I'm going to let it shine. Hide it under a bushel. No, I'm gonna let it shine. Hide it under a bushel. No, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine all the time. Carrie says it's a camp song. It's a good camp song, right? And you can do all kinds of things. You can go all around the neighborhood. I'm gonna let it shine. All around the neighborhood. I'm gonna let it shine. All around the neighborhood. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine all the time. One older version of it was, don't let Satan it out, but you can even say, don't let anybody it out. I'm gonna let it shine. Don't let anybody it out. I'm gonna let it shine. Don't let anybody it out. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. And you can add all kinds of things. If you're around, right now there's a lot of flooding and fire. And we're going to say, I'm not going to let it be burnt out. I'm going to let it shine. I'm not going to let it be washed away. I'm going to let it shine. I'm not going to let it be burnt out. I'm going to let it shine. So you see how this works? You can change it based on what you're feeling and remind yourself that Jesus is within you. That's the love of Jesus. That's that light within you. So when we make our lamps today and our lanterns today, let's be reminded of that. And we can write on them something. The idea was like, this little light of mine, and you could write whatever you want. You could say Jesus shines, or the light shines, or let Jesus shine, or you could just write shine. So we're going to do that today. And I want you to remember that song and sing it in your home if you want. Sing it at camp, sing it at church, right? These are the places to remind ourselves that there's nothing so dark that Jesus isn't there. He's always our light with us. So if you ever get lost, I remember one time I was actually at camp, and I was a counselor, and it was late, and we had put everybody to bed, and we were walking back, and I had gotten turned around somehow because it can get dark in the woods. And I couldn't find my way, and it was dark. But I remember thinking that there's a light within me, even if there's not a light above me right now that I could see. So you have that light within you. And I felt hope from that, and I knew I'd figure my way out. And I did. But If you ever feel like it's too dark in your life, let that light shine within you that Jesus gives you, and you can find that hope. All right, so let's make our craft. So by now I hope you found your felt pieces. And what you're also going to need is scissors. And I'm going to try this with kid scissors because I want to show you how easy it is to cut felt. You're going to need a piece of ribbon. You're going to need glue or some kind of way to make things together. Now, if you don't have that now and you want to do this later, that's okay too. You can watch me do it and learn how to make a lantern of our own out of felt. All right, so I'm going to pull you in so that I can switch you over here. All right, I'm going to use the back of this book as I put this down. So here is our colored piece that doesn't have anything to do with the lantern itself, with the flame itself. This is our lantern piece. So now on top of that, I'm going to cut, and I'm going to have to put you to the side a little bit. Slide you over. There's Dad and Owen watching all this today. Owen decided he'd sit out and not help you there. So I'm going to slide you to the side so I can do this, actually. Let's switch this up. I'm going to talk to you while I do this because I am not good at cutting with one hand. As those who watched these before know. Maybe some of you are really good at that, but I am not. All right. So I got you the way I need you, right there. So you see how easy it is to cut with these little scissors even? Felt is one of the softer materials that we use with fabric. So we can use just basic scissors with this. Now I'm going to make a top to my lantern, and I don't need it to be too big. So I'm going to cut a little piece off, and then I'm going to cut that piece in half. So this is going to be the top. I'm going to make it have, now you see the top of this lantern has this cool shape to it, where it goes like that. So I'm going to do that same thing on this one here. All right. All right. So there is the top to my lantern. And I'm just going to put that down. I'll glue it down after, but it's already on the paper there. Now, I'm going to add some sides to my lantern. So I want to make sure that it's smaller than the big piece, but that we have two of these strips. All right, so I've got one, and I'm going to make it the same size of the other one. And that's a hard thing to do. If it's not exactly the same, don't worry. This is just for you, or if you're giving it away to somebody else. So don't worry if it's not perfect. So I've got two strips, and I'm going to put them down, and you'll see what they look like in just a minute. All right, and then I'm going to cut a candle shape. And a candle's going to be like those two strips. It's going to be straight up and down. Okay. And that looks like my candle. And I'm going to put that right in the middle. So now I'm going to show you what we've got so far already. Okay, you ready for this? Oh, already you're starting to see what our lantern looks like. Now I want to add in a piece of yellow. So here's our yellow, right? We're going to cut that so it goes across. Now that can even be a little bit bigger, but kind of the same shape as that red, but it'll be a little bit bigger. And look at that. I did not do very well. So here's a trick. If you want it to be the same shape, you fold it over and then you cut it again, and then we can get closer to that same on both sides. All right. So now I've got this kind of a shape. Okay. All right. So I'm going to put that right there in there. And I'll show you what that looks like in the middle. And then what else does a candle need? Well, it needs a little bit of wick. And I've got this little bit of yellow left that I cut off. And that looks like that could be the candle shape to it. Okay. So what I do think I want is a little base. I didn't do that yet. And you'll see what I'm talking about. I know you're in suspense to see what this looks like at this point. So I'm going to take you out of suspense and put you back into here. There we go. Wow. Look at that. Already. It's a cool lantern. I'm just going to bring this down here, okay? And now we're going to write across that in a minute, but I have to do the hard part. I got to glue it down, all right, and keep our lantern going, okay. So we take the glue, and this is fabric glue, and I know that fabric glue is probably something you don't all have at your house. We do enough projects that we do. So I will also tell you that you probably could. And one thing about fabric glue, even though you prepped it, it decides to freeze up sometimes. So you may need help with this. But you can also use a stapler. So let me show you that too, actually. So you've got our lantern down. We're going to come at it with the stapler. Okay. We just go down. This is why I love live feeds of these, because you can all see how ridiculous this is. There are staples in that stapler. I double checked it before we started. All right. Pull this over. All right, so this little light of mine is in my lantern waiting to be put down. There we go, see? All right, now, sure that the glue might be prettier, but I know that it's not going to move on me either, and that's the nice thing, and glue can get messy. So I wanted to give you an option. You can use the glue or you can staple it down. I'm going to choose to do this just to show you how this works, okay? So see, and what you do is do all of the whole thing with either the glue or the stapler to make sure that it does not move. Now, you can add anything you want to it. If you have other colors and you want to decorate around, but what I want to see is right here on this yellow spot. So I'm going to get my marker, and what I'm going to do is write on it. And remember, we just sang the song, This Little Light of Mine, so I'm writing the words, This Little Light of Mine, with the marker. All right. Right onto it I go. This. Little. And then maybe I'll add let it, and then I'm going to come down here and go shine on it. So I'm going to hold it down and get that S going up. Let me go ahead and staple it. I thought I'd be safe, but I think I'm going to go ahead and do that so I can show you the S shape better. Now you can write, like we said, anything. You could write Jesus loves me on here. You could say Jesus is the light. Whatever you want to put. It's your own lantern. And so when you feel that it's dark in your room, like maybe you're afraid of the dark, you can have your own lantern, and you will know that even when it's dark, Jesus is with you. You can add stickers to this, and this is not just for kids. This is for adults too, because I think at times, even adults need to be reminded that Jesus' light is within them. When they're making decisions or things are going on in their life, this little light of mine, let it shine. And you could add, if you want to add 3 candles for Jesus and God and the Holy Spirit, you could do that too. You could even put your name on the type of lantern it is. Maybe I'll put an SK so I'll know, right? That's how I sign my pottery or anything like that. There's Coleman lanterns. There's all kinds. So you could make your own lantern to remind yourself that Jesus is within you, that Jesus is around you. All right, now that we've got that, are you ready for one more verse of this song? Are you ready to sing it with me? Okay. So let's go. This little light of mine is within me. Ready? This little light of mine is within me. This little light of mine is within me. This little light of mine is within me. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. All right, I look forward to, if you have any other ideas or different versions that you know, you can post those below. But just remember that God's light is all around you and within you. All right, have a great week.